Hey guys, Bart with Bicycle Rider YouTube, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Durango A2. This is an entry-level mountain bike that has a lot of solid features on it. So let me just go right into the nuts and bolts of this thing. When I'm saying entry-level, the Durango A2 is coming in around $680. So under $700 mountain bike that has a lot of modern features, that has a lot going for it. Problem is, and you know, I am a co-owner of Biloxi Bicycle Works. It's a bicycle shop where we do sell a lot of mountain bikes. And I get a lot of people that are interested in taking up mountain biking that have done a lot of research on the internet and maybe have got themselves down a rabbit hole. For one, they're on a budget. I completely understand that. And when you're talking about $1,000, that's a lot of money if you have never spent that much money on a bicycle or a mountain bike. But really, the mountain bike category has its price points that have really raised. There's a lot of technology out there that costs a lot of money. So getting a $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 mountain bike is something that people do on a regular basis. And when you've got $1,000 to spend on a mountain bike, remember that. You're going to be getting a $1,000 mountain bike. Be happy with them. They work. A company like Jameis has been around for a long time. Actually, I think Jameis's roots started in the 1930s when they started importing bicycles. But Jameis is a small company that has done well for themselves and really is small enough to engineer things the way they want to. So just remember, don't compare this bike to a $5,000 mountain bike, or want to buy a $700 mountain bike thinking that you're going to upgrade parts and make it better as time goes. What you're going to do is you're going to buy this bike, you're going to ride it for a while, you're either going to find out that mountain biking is what you want to do, or maybe there's another type of category you want to do, but you're going to end up selling this bike and probably buying, you know, a bike that's beyond what you think you even need right now. There's a lot of people that buy a $1,000 mountain bike, figure out that that's what they want, and they end up spending $2,000, $3,000 on a bike, and they're completely happy. And they would have never thought that walking into the shop in the first place. But mountain biking is addictive. The people that out there riding on the trails are some of the funnest people to be with, and the health benefits you get from this are beyond anything you can put a cash value on. So just know, if you buy this bike, ride it and be happy with what you have. One really nice feature of this bike is the aluminum frame that Jameis has designed, the chassis. Now this bike, it's not extreme in any category. It definitely is a modern geometry bike, and a modern geometry bike has a little bit more reach to it. So mountain bikes have got a little bit longer. They let you breathe better. They let you get on this bike and be comfortable. Most of them have a little bit of a rake and a little bit of a trail now. And the rake and trail numbers on this bike, you know, are all posted on the internet, so I'm not going to go into every detail. But just know, this is a very good mountain bike. It's very stable and rides good. Most of the time, if someone's going to spend $700 on a mountain bike, they're not a professional. They're not someone that's been in the sport for many, many years and knows exactly what they want. So this bike kind of puts the geometry in a good midpoint. Something that you can ride the trails on and be confident out on the trails. Have good stability, but still be able to rip through corners, over roots, over, you know, bumps and jumps and stuff like that. Have a good time and not get beat up. But, you know, most people that are buying a bike like this are probably going to use it for dual purpose. So this bike actually does ride very well on the street as well. It's not a street bike, but it is a bike that you can ride around your neighborhood. It's a bike that you can ride around your city's bike paths. Around here in Biloxi, Mississippi, you know, go up and down the beach sidewalk on and do everything fairly well. The mountain bike used to be the Swiss Army knife of bikes, and now we've got hybrids and other bikes. If you're going to spend more time on the street than you are on the dirt, maybe you should look for a hybrid. But if you do want to spend some time out on a trail, if you want a tool that's good at getting you on the trail and letting you feel what the sport's all about, the Jameis is, for one, available. This is, we're in September of 2021, the end of September, and this bike is available. I'm in Biloxi Bicycle Works. This is the bicycle shop that I co-own, and we are a Jameis dealer. that has this bike for sale. And I'm only saying that not so you call us up to buy this bike, but so you can go to your Jameis dealer and know that you can go walk in, and on the floor you should be able to find an entry-level mountain bike that does a lot of things very well at a good price. So let me just go into a couple of the key features. You can find out all the specs on the internet, but you have a Suntour coil fork, and a lot of people walking into my bike shop want to ask about an air oil fork, and if the coil fork is going to slow them down or stop them from doing what they want to do. For a beginner, a coil fork is fine. If you have the money to get an air oil fork, go ahead and get one, but then you're not going to be looking at a bike that's under $1,000. Most of the time a fork, air oil fork, is great for someone, a veteran of the sport, someone that's kind of doing this on a higher level. But the coil forks have really, gotten better and better over the years. Now, this is a 28 millimeter stanchion fork. That means it tracks really good. It's solid. Now, this bike does have, quick release skewer rather than a solid front axle, which, is good for a lot of people getting in the sport as well, because you can get these wheels off and put it in the trunk of your car. Bike racks are expensive. Good bike racks are expensive. Don't buy cheap bike racks. Most of the time, if you have a solid front axle, it's a little bit harder to get the wheels off and put them in your car. And most beginners that are spending $700 on a mountain bike don't want to spend $500 to $700 to $800 on a hitch style bike rack. So just know that having a quick release skewer on a bike like this is okay. It will still track down the trails just fine. Don't think you need a solid front axle to go ride your local mountain bike trail and have fun. So with that being said, the Suntour Fox is a good Fox. It's the XCE 28. It's not a race level component, but you can go ride your trails, and it does have quite a bit of suspension that works progressively very well. Another thing that a lot of new mountain bikers are looking at is drivetrain. Now, this has an 8-speed Shimano Tourney TX. It's not the highest end gear system bicycle transmission on the market, but to get the highest end, you're looking at spending a whole lot more than $1,000. So this gear system will work. It does not have a clutch derailleur, but just realize that, bicycles, no matter what bicycle it is, has a more of a barbaric system. The derailleur is just that. It derails the chain from one gear to the other. Be careful when you're riding a bike, when you're switching gears. It's not a computer controlled apparatus like your car. If you're putting in some serious power and going up a hill, that's not the time to switch gears. You have to think about things a little bit ahead of a time. Like I said, it's barbaric. Chain, sprocket, derailleur, and you push the button. When you push the button, it's going to want to shift. Be careful when you shift under power, going through a mud puddle, up a hill. You kind of have to shift and pedal at the same time as well to make the whole system work right. So people say, well, can I upgrade this to a 11 or 12 speed modern drivetrain? No. For one, the price of that is more expensive than what this bike costs. So get this bike with this gear system, ride it as is, have fun with it, see if you like the sport. If you do, you end up selling this to a neighbor or someone else that wants to get into the sport. And don't feel bad about selling them this bike, because it's a good bike. It's a very solid bike for the money. For the money, it has hydraulic disc brakes. I think it has 160 millimeter brake rotors, which is a good size brake rotor, and hydraulic brakes. So hydraulic brakes are nice because it's a sealed system. You don't have grit and debris getting into a cable, making stiction in the cables. So I think all in all, for the money, the Jameis Durango is a great entry-level bike. Don't get so hung up on dropper post. Don't worry that it has a square taper crankset on it. Check your crank bolt every once in a while. Make sure it stays tight. We've used square tapered cranks on bicycles for generations since they've worked well. They just take a little bit of time to make sure your crank bolt is properly torqued and tightened before a ride. You don't have to do it before every ride, but do it once a month, because when that bolt gets loose is when people have problems with square taper. If you're checking your bike over when you wash your bike, Just check to make sure everything's tight, and this bike will work good for a long time. So it's got a good gear range for multiple things. It's not a 12-speed Eagle drivetrain. It doesn't have the price of a 12-speed Eagle drivetrain. So really, my basis of this video is showing you that you can get a decent bike for a good price. Just know what you're getting. As long as you take care of this bike, understand the way it rides, you can ride this bike in multiple situations and have a great time doing it. But when shopping for a bike, don't come in and want a $700 mountain bike, but yet you want parts that a $5,000 Specialized Epic has. It's two different things. Buy this bike, have fun with this bike, ride this bike in multiple situations, and know if you buy a Jameis Durango, it comes in two levels. This is an A1, this is an A2. There's also an A1 that's a little step above this. Has a little bit higher end components for, you know, a few hundred more dollars. Entry-level mountain bikes are a blast. Ride them, have fun with them, sell them to your neighbors and get someone else into the sport, and then upgrade a whole bike. So anyway, from the Jameis Durango, just know I have a good opinion of this bike for price to usability standpoint. I don't think you can go wrong with this bike, and it is available. So go to your local Jameis dealer, pick one of these up, and have a good time on the trail. All right, thank you.